Hello everyone, thank you for joining me for another video. You'll see from the thumbnail and the title I am seeing if, which is my all-time favourite bait, Mainline Cell freezer bait, which has always been a freezer bait up until fairly recent-ish. They've brought it out in a shelf life version. Now I'm going to compare what the difference between the two is, because if there isn't a lot of difference, I shall use a shelf life from now on because it's a lot more user friendly. This has got a use by date of April 28. I'm filming this in February 25, so this tells me it's got 3 years and 3 months left before it's out of date. So there's obviously quite a few preservatives put in it to make it last this long, whereas the freezer bait, any of you lot that use freezer bait, you'll know you can get away with thawing it out once, using it and refreezing it, but after that, when you thaw it again, you've really got to use it because the goodness has been drawn out. And on hot summer days or warm days, you really do have to dry it out in an air dry bag. If you just chuck it in the back of your bivvy in the sun in summertime, within 24 hours it'll be going off. It'll be like, there'll be like white sugars coming out of it. It'll start turning, and some people like to use it like that, but most people I know that use freezer baits, they like it to be as fresh as possible because that's when it's at its best, or that's when I feel it's at its best. Whereas this, the consistency shouldn't change. If you leave it outside in an air dry bag, it'll just dry out more and go harder. If you leave it in the back of your bivvy, shouldn't be anything happen with it because it's a shelf life. So that's what makes this a lot easier to use than this. So I have cut the tops of the bags to make it easy for filming. So let's open the bags up now and let's show you. See if you notice what I've noticed straight away. This is the freezer, this is the shelf life. Can you notice? The freezer has a lighter colour. So I'm guessing the darker colour in the shelf life would be the added preservatives that are in it. Let's just take a random one out and put them together. So they're both pretty much on par with each other. They're both the same size. They're both in 15mm to make it a fair sort of review. And they both look pretty much the same. Squeeze test. This is the freezer, this is the shelf. Right, the shelf, I can't, oh no, I've just managed to squeeze it. The freezer with my left hand, which is my weaker hand, has broken down fairly easily. The shelf life, it has broken, but it took a little bit more. Right, that's something for the bird life. So freezer range is a softer bait, shelf life is a more tougher bait. Both has got its pluses. If you want it to break down quicker, freezer bait will, I guess. Shelf life won't break down as fast, but you can soak them and wash them out like a lot of people do. But I reckon if you're only for a day session like some of my vids are, where you're in a few hours, you don't need to buy a special Mainline Cell matching hook bait. I reckon one out the bag, you'd be fine. I mean, that you'd get a day out of that, definitely. Night time, maybe not so much. I think it would break down overnight, or little fish would peck at it. But smell wise, there's no difference in the smell. It smells the same, it looks the same. All I can work out up to now is that the freezer bait is a softer bait. I can't really tell you anything else on it. Price wise, they're exactly the same. A kilo bag of this is $12.99 and a kilo bag of this is $12.99. I think the 5 kilo bags, I think the $54.99. So if you buy them, if you're going to use this stuff and you don't go loads, but you're happy with a shelf life, which to be fair, I would happily use this. I don't see it's any less of a bait than this. I just think this breaks down quicker, so, and it's a softer bait, so maybe it's more digestible for carp, but they eat bloody nuts. Come on, I mean, so a slightly tougher boilie is not going to cause many problems, is it? But getting back to the price, if you buy it in a 5 kilo bag, you're saving yourself a tenner, because if you buy it 5 bags individually, that'll cost you 65 quid. If you buy a 5 kilo bag, it'll cost you 55 quid. And it lasts absolutely ages. So it's always worth, I think, having at least a kilo bag or a 5 kilo bag chucked in your van car if you decide you're staying on for a session. Because this stuff, like I say, you've got to maintain it, you've got to dry it out if you're on the bank for any length of time. And you only really get one session out of it before the next session you know you've got to really use it. So both have their pluses, both have their minuses, but I've got to be honest, I'm happy with either, and I'm glad I've seen both now, put them together. But obviously I'm going to use the freezer bait up first because I need to use it up really, whereas this, you'll see this in future videos if you watch any on the channel. So yeah, thanks for watching. I hope that's interesting to you, and yeah, if you're in doubt of which one to buy, hopefully that helps, and you can comfortably buy either as far as I'm concerned, because yeah, good job Mainline.